Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 6 of season 4 of the F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Miami. Yes, Formula 1 heads to the US for the first time this season. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video from Azerbaijan, Baku, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. And I think there's only one way to justify that. Mercedes power. It was an interesting one. There was a lot of drama, a lot of chaos from the Baku City circuit, as you would come to expect from Azerbaijan. But of course, if you're new around here as well, and you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We are incredibly close to 115,000 subscribers at the time of recording. Of course, the big goal at the moment, trying to get towards 120k. But bigger picture then, Max Verstappen now with a 38-point lead over my teammate Lando Norris in the championship. We're 41 points back from the Dutchman as we head into Miami. Red Bull 20 points clear of Audi at the top of the Constructors' Championship as well. So it's definitely a battle of us versus them this season. You can see performance-wise, we are still top, but yeah, Red Bull, Aston Martin, pretty much nothing to separate us three. Alpine a little way back, and then you can see a huge fall-off towards McLaren, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and Alpha Tauri. But Miami, I like this place. I really, really like this place, and I know I've said it a lot early on this season, but can today finally be the day I get a first win on the board? Well, a slippery start then to qualifying here in Miami. The rain has now stopped, and I haven't realised I'm now stuck behind Liam Lawson as he finishes off a qualifying lap, but times are desperately improving then late on in the session here, so we've actually gone out for a double run in Q1 just to make sure I make it through and into Q2 all clean and tidy. Yeah, it's going to be one of those ones, I think, where you've got to be out right at the end of each and every session, just because the track is going to continue improving. But I am a little bit worried about the traffic up in front. Oh, and you can already see then the amount of traffic we've got on this lap. Alpines and Williams desperately trying to get out of the way there, but as we head towards the complicated sector, this is going to be even more difficult. Oh, Pierre Gasly almost accidentally dives it down my inside there. As come on, Magnussen, you got to get out of the way. Blue flags. Blue flags. And Fittipaldi's on the racing line. Yeah, we don't stand a chance there, do we? That is frustrating. That's my first run pretty much gone then. I mean, we may as well try and keep a delta, even though it's going to be way off, as clearly the Alpine doesn't want to be let back through. Effectively now, yeah, we're just trying to battle to be one of the last cars on our run to make sure that we make it into Q2. But that's all been a little bit scrappy and messy here, boys. Albon now trying to fight his way through between Ocon and I. What on earth is happening here? Albon. Oh, that is scary. I love having shenanigans with the AI. Who's this? Lawson still refuses to overtake me again, even though I think he is actually finishing qualifying, so he's probably out already. Let's go for a second run then, as we are now, I think, going to be the last car onto a lap. Luckily, I made sure to put a little bit of extra fuel in, but I think, yeah, unless it starts raining again, which it doesn't look like it should only be Q1 that is intermediate conditions. I would have thought it will all dry out by the time we get into Q2 or the Q3 at the very latest there, but yeah, let's go again then. Let's try and actually get a clean time on the board, as everyone else now actually doing laps. Well, Verstappen has set a 1:34.1, so we need to be just over 20 seconds up then on this delta, which sounds ridiculous when you say it like that, but up to 12, 13. We're just going to have to keep going for it as we head out of the final corner. Yeah, we're going to be 20 seconds up, so we should be safely through and into Q2. Will we be able to go fastest? Oh, 21 seconds up. Not with a line like that out of the final corner. Scrappy run out of the final turn. I think we'll go about P4. And as predicted then, diving into Q2, the rain has gone away. All of the AI actually did their first run on a slightly slippery surface, so we should now be all on an even playing field, as yeah, the track does feel all but dry again. Maybe a tiny little lack of residual grip in the surface, but that shouldn't be too much of a concern as we get ready to start my one and only Q2 lap. I like to leave it late, you guys know that. Oh, a little bit of rear lock in there down at 1. Got to be careful with that. So yeah, you can definitely see AI continuing to improve there. Kevin Magnussen goes even faster, so maybe going out right at the end has not been such a bad call, as long as I don't mess it up. Amazing the grip we've got through those S's. This car is so fast. So stupidly fast. Yeah, 2 seconds up on Bottas. You know everyone else is still improving, but we could end up with a little bit of a mix-up here. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything too crazy, but we just need to try and get our lap locked up. A little bit of a small error through the middle sector, but as we head down in towards the final couple of corners, just make sure we keep it clean and tidy. So let's see what we can do out of the final corner. This might be in towards the 125s, which would be a good representative to get on the board. Up over the line, 26.2. I think that might still be fastest. And now into Q3 we go. The sun is shining, but it is also setting. Track conditions continue to be on the rise, so hopefully we're going to see just a little bit more grip in the surface once again. Probably going to be aiming for mid to high 25s, I would guess. But I just want to try and get a good first lap on the board, so we've got a delta to chase. Well, we really did get ragged through the middle sector that time around. Huge snap of oversteer that we're able to hang on to, and the lap's still going on. So that's been rather impressive then, if I do say so myself. Magnussen a 125.6. So we'll see if we can beat that as a first representative. A little bit early on the brakes in towards the final proper braking zone of the lap. Huge amounts of oversteer on the exit. We've got to try and stamp that out. Shortest run to the line, 26.0. So we actually went a lot slower in that final sector. We have a lot of time we need to find. Final lap then here from Miami qualifying. We need to find another second here. Will I be able to do that? Let's find out. Three-tenths up as we head out onto the back straight, but this is not going to be a big enough improvement at the moment. We need to try and find some time at the final couple of corners. We need to be brave. Again, another snap of oversteer, but out of the final corner up towards the line. It's not going to be fantastic. I think it's P7 on the grid for the Miami Grand Prix. That is disappointing. Well, there we go. Lando Norris on pole position then. A 124.8 there. Mega lap time by my teammate. Tsunoda actually beats out Verstappen to line up on the front row of the grid there. And Esteban Ocon gets his second P3 in a row. But it's 7th place on the grid for ourselves. It's not quite where I want it to be. But as always, I have set the car up more for race pace than qualifying. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series, numerous rock concerts, and of course, as of 2022, Formula One. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Verstappen, Magnussen, Mr. Monaco, Russell, Gasly, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Drugovich, De Vries, Théo Pourchaire, Bottas, Joe, Fittipaldi, Albon, Doohan, Liam Lawson, Stroll and Logan Sargent. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the Grand Prix. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way that you approach those roles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. They're two very different mindsets. In the old days, of course, they used to cover up to 15,000 kilometres of testing in a season, and that role would be more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as possible, so that the data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When lining up on the grid for a race, however, a race driver's frame of mind is all about what they can get out of the situation on that day, and the car is the tool to help them achieve those goals.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
I reckon, based on that, the car is probably the most important tool to try and win a Formula 1 Grand Prix, to be honest. Anthony Davidson, I'm not sure he could run and win an F1 GP there, but 29 laps ahead of us. Oscar Piastri taking a grid penalty rather early on in the season has boosted us up to P6, and we need to go aggressive on the tyre strategy here. It worked for Max in the last couple of races, so if you can't beat him, you got to join him there, and it looks like the Dutchman actually starting this race on a set of the mediums. As always, we need to be aggressive at the start. Lando Norris back on pole position, I think. Is that the first time since the season opener? It might well be. Here we go then, ready on the grid for the for the Miami Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go there. Fantastic hookup as Ocon's gone nowhere, and you can see immediately they're going to be able to try and dive to the middle of the medium runners. Big front lock in there down at turn 1. Was not expecting the full fuel in the car. Well, I hope not. I thought I'd put a new ICE in the car ready for this weekend, but immediately then up to P3 of the Grand Prix and ahead of the most important driver that we need to be ahead of. That, of course, being Max Verstappen, but Tsunoda clearly trying to apply some pressure to Lando Norris as we make our way out onto the back straight on lap 1. How bad is that ICE wear? I put a new gearbox in. Now the ICE up to 57%, so not perfect, but not horrendous. It's having to drain the battery on this opening lap. As always, we're running a lot more downforce than the AI. It's the only way you can be competitive around a lap. As, yeah, the AI still definitely have got a ridiculous top speed advantage in race trim there, as I think Verstappen almost left battling K-Mag behind us. This is obviously where we come alive through this middle sector. Of course, sort of nudge the wall there on the exit, but yeah, we've got to try and get the Dutchman out of the DRS as early as we can here. That also means we've got to try and stay within the range of Tsunoda and Norris just in front of me. Really, what the goal is today, of course, you know, depending on a safety car, that kind of thing, just don't allow Verstappen to really ever be in this fight at the front, but that is much easier said than done. It's a huge oversteer moment through the final corner. But yeah, 1 second to the car in front, 1 second to the car behind as Lando Norris will lead the way. DRS now enabled then, and a 1:27.8 new fastest lap of the Grand Prix for us. We've actually got some good pace early on here, as Verstappen already over 2 seconds back, but if I can try and make a move work on Tsunoda or Lando, we've got to make sure we do it in such a way that doesn't cost either of us too much time. That's how worried we are about Verstappen, and it's only round 6 of the season. Oh, VSC. One of the Hasses has gone. What on earth's happened there? A Haas and AlphaTauri in a wall. We've lost them both. We got a red flag. That's frustrating. Verstappen's now got a chance instantly to close in then this afternoon. I'm probably going to just bolt on a fresh set of the soft compound tyres, and it also means I can't look at that incident between the Haas and the AlphaTauri.
This is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
Let's still try and take another set of the soft compound tyres there. So effectively now Verstappen can also move on to a set of softs and go mediums to the end. Whether he will or not is a different question, as everyone now on mediums. 5 red lights once again though in Miami. Nice lights out, and away we go. And again, we're going to get a decent getaway there. Straight to the outside, of Tsunoda. So we head down, whoa, into turn 1 there, and actually contact with Tsunoda as he tries to tip me around at the first couple of turns. We have just about survived though, and now we can apply some pressure to my teammate Lando Norris there. Verstappen's had a disaster though, dropping down the order as Tsunoda Tries again to have a look at the inside of me, so I don't know what's happened to Max there. Has dropped down behind Ocon and Kevin Magnussen here, so that's a pretty decent lifeline for us. As can we now get a run on Lando as we head down the back straight? You can see, goodbye Lando Norris. We've got nothing in the way of straight line speed here as we head down. Well, is this the back straight? Is the other one the back straight? You don't really know. Does this track have two back straights, in fact? Still down on fuel, that's fine. Mark, I know how to do it, please. Just leave me alone, I know what to do. But, yes, we try and stay close to Lando Norris, though. Could we potentially try and build up a gap to Tsunoda behind us early on off the restart? That could be rather important today, as, yeah, Verstappen is therefore down to 6th place here. So it's not a good start so far this afternoon as the Dutchman, but what can we do against Lando? Closing in on Lando Norris ever so slightly down this back straight. Are we going to be able to have a look for a move? Yes, we are. And we've gone wheel to wheel with Lando countless times in recent races, but this time round we make the move back to the front of the field. I need to try and push early on this set of the soft compound tyres there, as I've also got to be careful that I don't pick up any warnings. But yeah, can we try and break free then from my teammate here? The gap almost up to a second immediately. So if we can leave them to battle behind, that would be fantastic. And then hopefully we can try and just romp away there, as Magnussen already falling back. So Max Verstappen here is already in real trouble here. Well, of course we want to try and close down the gap to Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. But Lando and Yuki seemingly locked in a bit of a battle early on here. We need to build up a safety buffer today. We have not had an opportunity like this all season long. So I am absolutely not taking any chances. But it really does look like Verstappen simply cannot make an impact here at this stage of the day. I don't know, you know, maybe he's gone on a set of hard compound tyres to try and take him to the end. I don't think he had, or otherwise I would have noticed it off the red flag restart, wouldn't I? But yeah, we really are just trying to inch away a gap as best as possible early on this afternoon. You know, if the AI decide to go soft tyres to the end of the race, then I need to have that few second buffer. But, of course, effectively now what we've actually got is a 24-lap race here from Miami that hopefully will be able to keep us in front of the rest of the field. I need a first win. I know I've said it so many times in recent races, but we need to prove in this championship fight that I have actually got what it takes rather than just... I mean, consistency is important, of course, but I want to prove that occasionally we have got the out-and-out pace, despite how much we struggled in qualifying. Gap to Yuki now starting to neutralise around that 3-second mark, and to be honest, 3 seconds is probably decent enough just to keep him at arm's length here. Of course, what we're starting to find is the medium tyres have got the advantage over the softs again, so we're just trying to keep this even for as best as possible. Probably going to dive in at probably end of 16 still, I think, is sensible. 11 laps on these, 13 laps on a set of the mediums to go to the end. That seems quite fair. The only other problem we've got, of course, is I'm not Arava. So far, you know, the last few laps keeping the AI at a bit of a margin. It is not creating the most dramatic race. We're not quite 6 wide battling for a title or anything like that just yet. But, yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, the most boring races are the ones that you've got a good chance of winning, unless I do something stupid. Because we need to keep Tsunoda and Norris far away, because I don't want to risk anything. Whoa! Oh, that was scary. I almost Charles Leclerc'd it. That's a warning.
Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time.
Well, I definitely lost time there.
Let's get it done.
I don't know how we've been given that one, but now we've really got to work hard in the second half of this race to try and make sure we keep the gap up to Yuki Tsunoda. I'm tempted, honestly, now to pit in end of this lap, just so we can try and get a bit of an undercut on him and extend that margin out slightly. I don't know where we'd re-emerge relative to the traffic, but yeah, clearly these soft tyres starting to go. Let's hope that 3-second penalty really doesn't come back to haunt us here. Yeah, if the race was to finish now, of course, we would finish P2. You think we're going to lose tyre grip now, Mark, rather than that huge moment I had going through the end of Sector 1? Interesting feelings there from my race engineer, but yeah, we're going to dive into the pit lane then. 14 laps on a set of the mediums to see us through to the checkered flag. Hopefully we'll just get it slopped. Oh, 43 miles an hour on pit entry. That was rather brave. So I reckon we're going to come out around the Alpine of Albon and the McLaren there, I would assume, of Felipe Drugovich in this Grand Prix. So, no, that was me. Charles Leclerc, sorry, also on a set of softs. It was 2.2. That was pretty clean and tidy. And yeah, we're actually going to be out in a bit of clear air here, which is beautiful. Albon and Drugovich also diving in. So we've sensibly been able to go as far as we could on this set of the soft compound tyres. But yeah, now we've got to try and get around Oscar Piastri and continue to push forward. Oh, yellow's out. No, one of the Alfa Romeos has gone. No!
Red flag. No overtaking, please. We'll see you in the
I am so unlucky. I am so unlucky. We're the only car at the front to a pit, so now everyone is going to get a free pit stop on me.
Nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
What nice advantage am I going to get out of this, Mark? We've got to go softs again. I've got to gamble it late on in the day, but that is an utter disaster here. Late on in the Miami GP, we've got 12 laps to go, and we are just going to have to push like crazy towards the end of this thing. Everyone's on hards. Okay, that might give us a chance. 5 red lights. Let's lights out, and away we go. Russell with car issues, apparently. Is everyone going slowly again, including Max Verstappen? How on earth have I found that many places down towards someone there as Norris has gone backwards? Ocon suddenly to the lead of the Grand Prix, but all the AI, for whatever reason, are on a set of hard compound tyres there as we're almost into the back of Magnussen and my teammates. So we need to try and move quickly here off the restart and build up a little bit of a margin as around the outside of Kevin Magnussen we will attempt to go. But look how slow the AI are. So we head out onto the back straight there. Verstappen yet again has had another disaster. Charles Leclerc has moved forward also on a set of softs, so I don't know what his game plan is to the end of the afternoon. But Miami is really proven to be a weird and wonderful race this afternoon as, yeah, the Dutchman down to about P8 here in this Grand Prix. Ocon at the front of the field there, as I'm just going to say absolutely no way to Kevin Magnussen. But, yeah, recovering quite a few places then off of that red flag. And looking at everyone on a set of hards there as contact with Lando Norris. We're not out of this. We've got a fighting chance still late on in the day. As you can see immediately the traction we're able to get. And the apparent power advantage my teammate has for whatever reason. You try telling me the AI in F123 have an accurate power representation when you're at the higher AI levels. I will never believe you, but yeah, I mean, what can Ocon do at the front of the field? Maybe he's on a set of softs as well there, hence why he's been able to pull away the way he has been, but we need to try and move past these AI as soon as possible. We're going to have to line up a move on Lando. It's going to have to be a dive at turn 1. Whoa, big lock up there at the rear, but we gather it up. That was aggressive, to say the least. Here we go, Charles Leclerc to the inside of Tsunoda. Is he going to be able to get the nose there? Yes, he is. Tsunoda almost barged out of it. But he's not going to back out just yet, and I mean, we really have just got to sit back and watch the show unfold as Charles Leclerc will make it through. I want to know what tyres Ocon's on at the front of the field, because if he's on hards, we might still be in trouble here late on in the day. Need to try and get a run on on Yuki Tsunoda, even that's a throwback. Sergio Perez, but already we've got a second to Lando Norris behind us, so this has really mixed up the field late on in the day. Are we going to see Tsunoda go for a move on Leclerc? Am I going to go for a move on Tsunoda? Yes, I am, as all Charles Leclerc actually locks up slightly. Ocon is on a set of hard compound tyres, so that's rather interesting as well. Could Alpine be in for a shock win here? Still yet to win a race in this series, don't forget. But now, he's got Leclerc and I both on a set of soft compound tyres, closing in. Yellow's out. Someone else has got issues. Don't say it's Ocon at the front. No, it seems to be a car further back. Oh, it's Verstappen! Max Verstappen out of the Miami Grand Prix. And if this race couldn't get any crazier, it is just... No, it's not. It's not Verstappen. It's the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Oh, that got me hyped up for a moment there, as down the inside of the other Ferrari will go of Charles Leclerc. Now back up into P2 then of this GP. And I mean, surely Ocon, if we could just get close enough through these next couple of corners, he's going to be a sitting duck down the DRS straight there, as you can see how much grip we've got. Is that Ferrari going to break down, or are they just trying to make drama out of it? I don't quite know, but we've got to get to the inside of Ocon. Why is he putting me in a wall? I mean, it's Ocon. Why am I even asking that? So we should be able to get past him, though, down this back straight. And now we've got... Oh, no, it's Norris. It's my teammate, Lando Norris, sorry, out of the Grand Prix. So that is not good for us in terms of the Constructors' Championship, because we had a big opportunity to take some points out of Red Bull here. But to the lead the Miami Grand Prix we will go. Ocon's going to have the DRS back down towards turn 1. But we need to try and get that 1 second margin and allow Charles Leclerc to hound him towards the finish. I've also realised 8 laps to go. We have got an even bigger problem here late on in Miami. I don't think the red flags simulate the fuel burn accurately. I reckon you actually lose a load of fuel when a red flag comes out here, because we are still a lap under the delta here with 8 laps remaining of this GP. We can try and balance it as best as possible, but I'm not convinced we're going to be able to save that unless we really lift and coast. I mean, if Ocon and Tsunoda can just duke it out for a couple of laps here, let me save a little bit more fuel. We are saving a tiny bit each lap, but it's nowhere near enough. We need to be saving close to 0.2 laps worth of fuel every lap here, and I just do not see an opportunity to do that. Are we in deep trouble unless we get a safety car? I see that time around we've saved 0.1 laps worth, but still 6 laps to go. We might be able to save the fuel to get to the end, but how many places am I going to lose because of it? I cannot believe this. Everything today, pace-wise, was looking towards a win for us, but everything else inside F123 has been trying to stop it. Oh, Tsunoda's going to fly past me, and there's nothing I can do about it. 5 laps to go, we're still 0.8 under. It's getting slightly better, but it's not looking great. I just need to try and use the DRS off of Yuki late on here, but really, unless Leclerc pits, I think we're going to lose the podium. I'm looking at Magnussen down in P4. We need 0.2 laps worth of fuel every lap now towards the line. I'm trying to keep up with Tsunoda. I'm trying to stay in that DRS range. But I think we are just going to have to accept on the final lap it's going to start struggling. But it's just a question of how much time are we going to lose when it does. Charles Leclerc's actually dropping back here late on. Clearly Ferrari have gambled it, but their tyre wear is not good enough, as I'm just, you can see, trying to blend the throttle through these first couple of corners. But again, I'm trying to stay in the range of Yuki just to gain any kind of time we can by virtue of the DRS. But this is so frustrating. We've gone under on fuel in quite a few Grand Prix recently, and it hasn't mattered. But here in Miami, not only did we get screwed by the red flag in terms of having to make up places, but it's also cost us a load of fuel for whatever reason. I've lost the DRS range to Yuki Tsunoda now as we're about to start the last lap of the Miami Grand Prix, and we're still 0.4 laps under on the fuel. This is really not looking good at the moment. I'm getting very, very nervous. I mean, surely that's something that needs to be patched inside F123. You know, you don't sit there on a reconnaissance lap or an in-lap burning fuel. You can pretty much, I would have thought, get round on about 0.3 laps worth, so we should be able to save quite a lot. But we are minus 0.38 laps of fuel. It is going to go at some point around this lap, but where is it going to go? We can still try and save a little bit more as we continue to potter around, but I'm sort of looking at the gap at Leclerc and expecting a miracle here. Magnussen might be attainable, but yeah, who knows really. I mean, the big one, of course, is trying to beat Max Verstappen, but I can't believe, again, how much bad luck do we get inside F123. We don't get the engine failures like we used to. It seems to be everything else under the sun that will go wrong for me in this series at the moment, but we've just got to keep trying to pick up good, consistent points wherever we can and try to learn from the mistakes. Big, big lift as we make our way down the end of the back straight, but really I'm expecting anywhere from now sensibly to probably go. We're 0.2 laps under on the fuel, and we're just trying to limp our way through these final few corners. Yuki Tsunoda, it's not, I'm sure, been the win he was expecting today. Audi really did seem to have the better of him early on. Now I'm just going to mash the throttle. It's gone into low fuel mode. This is where we're really going to start struggling. You can see it's already spluttering as we head down the back straight there. We're trying to drain the battery, but we have got absolutely nothing here. Ocon's going to fly past me. Leclerc is going to fly past me as well. We can... Oh, you don't want to do that. In towards the final couple of corners, but look at that. We got nothing. Yuki Tsunoda is going to win the Grand Prix here today. We are just crawling to the line, though. Got to try and get there as quickly as we possibly can. Will we still take any points away from it? I think we'll get 9th.
Here we are then, a phenomenal Miami Grand Prix, and what a great show of skill from our race winners today. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Let's see how the driver's standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Yuki Tsunoda gets my vote today.
Let's move on to the constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we go. Yuki Tsunoda is a Formula One Grand Prix winner there. Mega drive by the young Japanese driver. 63 minutes worth of racing, according to F123 there. But Tsunoda finally can stand on the top step of a Formula One podium. Esteban Ocon in P2. Charles Leclerc, fantastic recovery to P3 there after a bit of a nightmare in qualifying. Magnussen, Sainz and Verstappen. Only Verstappen could finish 6th in a GP and still pull out points on his championship rivals there. Albon, Gasly, myself, and yeah, Felipe Drugovich gets McLaren's first point of the year as well there. Able to beat Oscar Piastri out come the checkered flag. It does mean championship-wise, well, Red Bull now 1 and 2 at the top of the table there. Verstappen a 42-point lead over Yuki Tsunoda and 46 over myself and Lando Norris respectively. That has got to be one of Audi's worst weekends so far in Formula 1. Drugovich, though, gets the first point outside of the big 6 teams there, so good result done by him. But yeah, it's both Red Bulls, both Audis, both Alpines, Aston Martins, Ferraris and Mercedes at the moment there. And a little bit of a mix-up between the McLaren and the Williams duo, and Haas and the others a little bit muddled up as well at the bottom of the field. A 50-point lead, no. Audi are now behind Red Bull at the top of the championship. Alpine looking pretty comfortable in P3. They're ahead of Aston Martin and Ferrari. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like. Get yourself subscribed. Let me know. Obviously, we're back at Imola tomorrow. How am I going to get screwed over around the Emilia-Romagna GP circuit? But yeah, make sure you come back tomorrow to find out just exactly what's going to go wrong. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters that you can see currently on your screens. If you want to join them from as little as £1 a month, it would be massively appreciated and you help support my work. You also get access to weekly updates from myself with everything going on behind the scenes with the channel. But yeah, a massive thank you to the names you see on your screen, and we'll be back very soon with a brand new video.